Nick and Sharon seek comfort as Noah lies in precarious state. The young and the restless spoilers indicate that Nick Newman and Sharon Newman are beside themselves with worry about Noah Newman. Noah is in an induced coma in the hospital as they are trying to keep the swelling down in his brain. Will Sharon and Nick be able to find solace in one another as they try to find peace after the accident with their son? Nick Newman and Sharon Newman are worried. Nick and Sharon are attempting to determine who would want to drive Noah off the road and why Noah was on that road at night. Nick has made every effort to support Sharon and be the strong one. However, Nick is having a huge problem with all of this as well. Nick and Sharon will likely find comfort in each other when nothing else makes sense in the world. Since a few months ago, Nick and Sharon have been working toward this. However, they have not crossed that line to get back into an intimate relationship. It makes sense that Nick and Sharon would turn to each other for comfort as they leave the hospital to get some rest because they cannot be any use to Noah right now. Sharon Newman and Nick Newman reunite. Nick and Sharon aren't even thinking about their relationship right now. All that is on their mind is getting through this and making sure that their son is okay. Nevertheless, this is unquestionably a time to find solace in one another's arms. Sharon has done all she can do is try to get through to her son. A call that their son has woken up may interrupt Nick and Sharon, but for the time being, they will reconnect. Is Sharon and Nick going to start a new relationship right now? Or will Nick later decide that this is not what he wants? Nick and Sharon don't do very well with planning a reunion because one always does something to hurt the other one. But they need each other until Noah gets better and the mystery is solved. Sharon Newman and Nick Newman's bond grows stronger. Nick and Sharon shared a kissing in Nice, so they may go further now that Nick is well and their son is the one in danger. Nick and Sharon's bond is certainly growing closer through Noah's accident. It is very easy to imagine these two falling into bed and comforting each other. Is this the push that Sharon and Nick need to finally get back together? It's possible that Nick and Sharon will detach from their worries and lean on one another. Nick and Sharon will get some updates sooner or later, but in the meantime they could certainly spend some quality time together. How do you feel about Nick and Sharon finally getting back together? Is Noah's accident just what they need to reunite their family? Come here for all things Y&R. The young and the restless news, spoilers, and updates can be found here frequently. Nick and Sharon Newman's world is falling apart as they sit helplessly beside their son Noah's hospital bed, the beeping machine serving as a painful reminder of how fragile life can be. Noah lies unconscious, his body battered, his brain swelling, forcing doctors to place him in an induced coma. For Nick and Sharon, this is every parent's nightmare, watching the light of their lives teeter between life and death. Their son, once full of laughter and hope, now lies still and silent, and the uncertainty of his recovery drives them to the edge of despair. The two parents, bound by years of history, of love, heartbreak, loss, and redemption, now find themselves drawn together once again, not because of romance, but because of shared pain and the desperate need to stay strong for their son. As they wait for updates, every moment feels like an eternity, and every breath a struggle against the rising tide of fear that threatens to drown them both. Nick Newman, ever the protector, tries to keep his composure, holding Sharon's trembling hands and offering words of comfort that even he doesn't fully believe. He wants to appear strong and unshakable by being her rock, but deep down he is breaking apart. He is consumed by guilt. What if he had done something to avoid this? What if he had notified Noah about that perilous section of road or called him that night? Each possibility hurts more than the last as his mind spins. In the meantime, Sharon sits silently next to him, her tear-stained face displaying the extent of a mother's suffering. She has always been their family's emotional center, but her faith is being shaken right now. She keeps asking the same deeply disturbing question, why Noah? Why now? And who could have done this to their son? Both of Noah's parents feel a mixture of sadness and rage when they consider the possibility that Noah was intentionally run over. The hospital becomes their second home as the hours turn into days. The sterile smell of disinfectant, the constant hum of fluorescent lights, and the hushed voices of nurses are all that surround them. Yet amid the despair, something quietly begins to stir between Nick and Sharon, a fragile rekindling of the connection that has never truly died. They've shared decades of memories, both beautiful and painful, and despite their many separations, their bond remains unbreakable. Nick finds solace in Sharon's presence, her warmth, and her understanding. Sharon, too, feels comforted by Nick's steady support, his arms providing a sense of safety in a world that suddenly feels so uncertain. They don't discuss their relationship because they don't have to. The love that once burned so fiercely between them still lingers beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to re-emerge. Nick and Sharon's shared grief becomes a bridge between their hearts. Sharon breaks down completely late one night following a particularly difficult conversation with Noah's doctor. Her sobs echo through the quiet hospital corridor, and Nick pulls her into his arms without hesitation. For a long time, they simply hold each other, letting years of pain, guilt, and longing flow freely. It's not about romance in that moment. It's about survival. They need each other to stay upright, to keep breathing, to face another day of uncertainty. The silence in Sharon's house is deafening when they finally leave the hospital to rest. Every photograph of Noah, every memory of his laughter, seems to scream at them. As they sit together on the couch, exhaustion overtakes them, and their emotional walls begin to crumble. One soft glance, one lingering touch, and suddenly they find themselves sharing a kiss that reignites the flame they thought had long burned out. For a brief moment, the world outside disappears. Once more, it's just Nick and Sharon, two souls entwined by fate and bound by love that has refused to die in the face of every challenge. The tenderness of that moment brings back a flood of memories. Their wedding, the birth of their children, and the countless times they've found their way back to each other after heartbreak. Yet as soon as the kiss ends, reality crashes back in. They pull away, uncertain of what it means. Are they falling back into old patterns? Or is this the universe giving them a second chance? Sharon looks into Nick's eyes and sees not just the father of her children, but the man who has always been her anchor, even when life pulled them in different directions. Sharon, on the other hand, inspires Nick with her compassion and strength. It is abundantly clear that their bond has not diminished over time. Meanwhile, the mystery of Noah's accident looms large over their tentative reconnect ion. Neither Nick nor Sharon can rest until they find out who is responsible. The police have started an investigation, but they haven't heard back for a while. Every day without progress feels like torture. Sharon begins to fear that the accident wasn't random, that someone may have intentionally tried to harm her son. Nick, too, suspects foul play, but he hides his anger behind a facade of calm for Sharon's sake. He knows that letting his rage take over won't help Noah, but it's getting harder for him to keep it under control. Their shared mission to uncover the truth draws them even closer, reminding them that they are strongest when they face the world together. In the quiet moments between visits to Noah's room, they talk softly about their fears and hopes, about the family they built, and the mistakes they've made. It's not quite a reconciliation, but it's a start, a fragile rebuilding of trust that neither expected to find in the midst of tragedy. The phone then rings one night. It's the hospital. Noah has shown signs of improvement. His brain swelling is subsiding, and doctors believe he might wake up soon. Hearts racing with relief and fear, Sharon and Nick rush to his bedside. As they watch his fingers twitch and his eyes flutter open, tears of joy stream down their faces. The nightmare isn't over, but for the first time in days, there's hope. Nick squeezes Sharon's hand, and she squeezes back, their silent exchange saying more than words ever could. This moment of shared joy cements their emotional reunion. They are aware that the road ahead will be challenging. Noah's recovery, the investigation into the truth, and the issue of whether or not they can rekindle their relationship. But for the time being, none of that matters. What matters is that their son is alive, and they are facing the future together. In the end, Noah's accident becomes both a tragedy and a turning point for Nick and Sharon. It forces them to confront their unresolved feelings and reminds them of what truly matters: love, family, and forgiveness. They've both made mistakes in the past, and they know that rekindling their relationship won't be easy. But standing together in that hospital room, watching their son fight his way back to life, they realize that they still belong to each other in ways that defy logic or circumstance. They take solace in the simple fact that even in their darkest hours, they are never truly alone, and it remains to be seen whether fate will grant them a second chance at happiness. Is Noah Newman an imposter? According to the young and the restless spoilers, some fans are unsure whether Noah Newman is the real deal. Right now his parents can't even see what he looks like after a horrible car crash. He's in a hospital bed in LA and in an induced coma. Could it be that Nick Newman and Sharon Newman have got an imposter on their hands? Is Noah Newman still alive? Nick and Sharon were prepared to meet Noah and take in the sights of Los Angeles. When Sharon got there, however, she learned her son was in bad shape following a car crash. Noah is now in a coma as a result of swelling in his brain, and his parents are devastated. Making matters more complicated, Detective Burrow told them that a witness saw a car ram into Noah's vehicle before it tumbled down a ravine. Who hit Noah's car? Nick promised to find out what was going on, but now fans are speculating that an even more sinister plan may be in the works. They believe that the fact that Noah is in the hospital with his face covered in bandages is Sue's, and that this may be concealing the fact that the man in the bed is not Noah. Anything is possible with soaps. Is it possible that Noah has been taken on by someone else? Yes. Is it possible that Noah will no longer be the kind man he was prior to the accident? Yes. Will Noah be okay? Other fans wonder if the bandages indicate that Noah will have a different appearance when he wakes up. This is because Lucas has been cast in the role in a new way since Rory Gibson left. Beginning in November, we anticipate seeing the man wearing the bandages soon. Fans are anticipating the recast and subsequent storyline, as evidenced by the current flurry of rumors and speculation. What comes after in GC? How do you feel about the most recent episode of The Young and the Restless? Do you believe that the accident will completely alter Noah's character? Be sure to catch up on everything happening with The Young and the Restless right now. Get comfy and gain access to the best soap information available online by checking back frequently for the most recent Y&R news, spoilers, and updates. The shocking question hanging over The Young and the Restless right now isn't just whether Noah Newman will survive. It's whether the man lying in that Los Angeles hospital bed is even Noah at all. The coma-stricken patient may not be who everyone thinks he is because of the storyline, which has sparked theories, rumors, and suspicions among fans. After all, this is Genoa City, a place where misidentifications and sinister plots lurk behind even the most innocent faces and where secrets are never buried. In addition, as Sharon and Nick Newman deal with the terrible accident that befell their son, a startling fact might soon become clear. The young man lying in that hospital bed might be a stranger who bears Noah's name. Nick and Sharon Newman have been through heartbreak before, but nothing could prepare them for this. Their son, their bright and compassionate Noah, was supposed to be living a happy life in Los Angeles, working on creative projects and reconnecting with family. However, all of that literally came to an end when his car was allegedly hit by another vehicle and veered off the road, plunging into a ravine. The police have called it a hit and run, but the details don't add up. Witness statements are inconsistent, and the crash site yielded few clues. Noah's parents are left to wonder not only who hurt their son, but also whether this man is actually their son as he lies in a hospital bed covered in bandages from head to toe. When Sharon arrived in LA, she expected a joyful reunion. Instead, she was met with flashing lights, police reports, and sterile hospital hallways. Despite their calm and professional demeanor, the doctor's words struck her like lightning. Noah suffered a severe head injury and was put into an induced coma to control brain swelling. His face was too badly damaged to recognize. She couldn't even see the son she came to hold. Nick, shaken but determined to remain steadfast for Sharon, arrived quickly. The two have always worked as a team in trouble, and this situation forced them to come together once more. However, as the hours turned into days, anxiety set in. Something about this didn't feel right. The police mentioned a witness who saw another car deliberately hit Noah's vehicle before it plunged off the road, but no one has identified the driver, and the surveillance footage from the area mysteriously went missing. The assigned detective, Detective Burrow, has promised to get answers, but his updates have been vague. Nick senses that something is being hidden. The more he asks, the more evasive the responses become. Sharon tries to calm him, insisting they should trust the authorities, but even she feels a chill when she looks at the bandaged figure in that hospital bed. The man's build seems slightly off, his mannerisms when sedated don't quite fit what she remembers of her son. She expects the familiar warmth of Noah's presence when she touches his hand, but something is off. She can't explain it, and she hates herself for even thinking it, but a part of her wonders, what if this isn't Noah? The possibility sounds absurd, until one considers the history of deception in Genoa City. Viewers have witnessed fake deaths, memory implants, secret twins, and plastic surgery schemes over the years. Imposters are soap staple, and The Young and the Restless has never shied away from shocking twists. It's entirely possible that someone could have replaced Noah, either by accident or design. Could an enemy of the Newman family have orchestrated a switch, putting an imposter in Noah's place to infiltrate the family or gain access to Newman Enterprises' secrets? Or could Noah himself be a victim of mistaken identity, someone else caught in the wrong place at the wrong time? Nick, ever the protector, can't shake his suspicions. He demands to see more medical documentation, to verify blood types and DNA if necessary. Sharon, torn between love and logic, pleads for patience, but the thought gnaws at her too. Every time she sits beside the bed, whispering to the silent figure she believes is her son, she feels like she's talking to a stranger. Nick is aware of how easy it is to plant evidence, despite the hospital staff's insistence that the patient's ID, car registration, and wallet found at the scene all match. Someone clearly wanted this to happen. The Newmans were wanted to be off balance, weak, and in pain by someone else. The show's frequent use of bandages on the face has also been noticed by fans, supporting these theories. In soap operas, this device is almost always a signal, a narrative trick that conceals a recast or transformation. Viewers know that actor Rory Gibson has exited the role, and Lucas will soon debut as the new Noah Newman. So, could the bandages be setting up a reveal where Noah quite literally changes faces? A classic identity twist plot could use the recast as a great cover. When those bandages come off, the man beneath may not only look different, he might be different in every way. Speculation runs wild that the show will blend the recast with an imposter arc. If the man claiming to be Noah slowly comes to Nick and Sharon's attention that he doesn't remember certain details about his childhood, doesn't write in the same way, or even tells a story about his past, just think of the drama. The tension would be electric as they begin piecing together the truth, while the imposter continues to manipulate them emotionally. It would be the kind of slow-burn psychological thriller that The Young and the Restless does best. On the other hand, the storyline might take a more emotional route. Instead of an outright imposter, Noah could awaken a changed man, his trauma altering his personality, his demeanor, or even his memories. Brain injuries can have profound effects, and soaps often use them to explore themes of rebirth and rediscovery. When Noah eventually wakes up, he might be physically different and emotionally unrecognizable. The people he loves most, Sharon, Nick, and even his sister Faith, may find themselves trying to connect with someone who no longer feels like the Noah they knew. This would create a poignant and human story about identity, loss, and the fragile line between who we are and who we become after tragedy. Still, whispers of darker possibilities persist. What if Noah was targeted because of something he discovered? It's possible that he came across a secret connected to Newman Enterprises or someone else's illegal activities in Los Angeles. The car that hit him might not have been random. It could have been a warning or an attempt to silence him. And if the real Noah was kidnapped or presumed dead, his imposter could have been inserted deliberately to mislead the Newmans while the true son remains hidden away. Such a plot would set the stage for a shocking future twist, one where the real Noah returns, furious, traumatized, and ready to expose the truth. For now, Nick and Sharon can only wait, trapped between hope and dread. They visit the hospital daily, holding on to faith that their son, wherever he truly is, will come back to them. Each moment of silence feels heavier than the last, each whispered prayer echoing against the sterile walls of the room. Sharon dreams of hearing Noah's voice again, of seeing his eyes open, even if they look unfamiliar. Nick, meanwhile, keeps digging into the police report, convinced that the answers lie somewhere beneath layers of lies. Whether this story becomes one of miraculous recovery or shocking deception, one thing is certain: Noah's return, in whatever form it takes, will change everything. In the grand tradition of The Young and the Restless, mystery, emotion, and family drama intertwine to keep audiences captivated. Whether Noah Newman has been replaced by an imposter or transformed by tragedy, his storyline promises to redefine not only his own character but also the dynamics of Genoa City itself. The question now isn't just who is in that hospital bed. It's what will happen when he finally opens his eyes.